Hello, welcome to challenge number 66. So this time we're going to build a macro to solve some kind of packing problem. The easiest way to demonstrate what the issue is actually to look at the data. So what we have, for example, your order one, you have a spot ID, so kind of like what kind of item ID. So from item one up to item five, so you have five things. Order two, you go from 1 to 12, so you can have 12 items. Now, in some case, you don't necessarily start was the first one, so you can start say 200. The last one, you can be a special case, starting and ending. So you basically buy a single item. Okay, so different order have different number of items in there. What do you want? The output, we try to pack into different boxes. So the first output, we have a box of six, kind of like a gift pack. How many cupcakes you have? For order one, we have only five items. That's actually quite easy because five items it should be sufficient for one box. That's the first box, and then that can tell you how many in each batch. Two is a bit more interesting, I think, to give a more specific case. Because we have 12 items, six as a box, so that's pretty good size. Every time you do, feed in six. Now, compared to starting, we also need actually to tell for each boxes what's the item ID in it. So you want to keep track the individual item for each box, etc. You can repeat for orders with more items. Then we want to create a macro. You let the user to choose the box size. The bonus point is actually to talk about you have to do every single batch. You do batch exercise, you do every box size in one go. There's additional separate values. We're not worried about that yet. Let's just build our base macro first. For this thing, I think the easiest is actually just take one particular example and build your macro out of the workflow. So let's start with the first one. Because if your logic is sufficient, then it doesn't matter how many rows you have. Order ID, starting and ending, so that will kind of your input data for your workflow. The first thing we've got to decide, we need a formula. We need to know how many box size. So that's kind of your control parameter. So let's say box size. And they have the first one six. So to match answer, let's use six as the example. I don't think we need into 64, but yeah, let's just be safe. 64, go for it. Once you have the box size, we also need to know how many items in total. Then we can decide how many boxes we need. So number of, let's call it items. Because there are different B's, B for box, B for bottles. Number of items, that should be your ending value minus your starting value. Now, in this case, we know from 1 to 12, you should have 12 items. The difference only gave 11, that means the boundary value we need to adjust for as well. So we're going to plus 1 to adjust for the bounding value. Once we know how many items we have, then we can say number of boxes needed. In total, we know each box is box size 12 with 12 items, that's easy division. But remember, sometimes you may have a different number that's not necessarily divisible. You need to round up because we got to make sure we have enough box to cover. So even some box may not fully fill. So you never round it down. In that case, you have some leftover. You also round up to capture everybody. To round up, that's a ceiling function. We're going to have number of items divided by box size. Round up, it's going to be integer, so we're going to keep as int. Let's check our numbers. So that's pretty good. That's the information we want. Now, the next, because if you remember from the answer, we have different box 1, box 2, box 3, etc. To that, that's kind of like a data scaffolding. We want to create number rows. To fold it, scaffold it, we have generate rows. In this one, let's call box ID. It's probably easier to keep track. So box 1, box 2, the box ID. 62 is fine. 32 is fine. Startup, you also have box 1. What's your condition? So the condition is say, is my current box ID is less equals than the number of box needed. You haven't hit the maximum number of box you need. In the bottom, we're going to modify it to say, okay, I'm going to generate one more box. As long as I'm not hitting the maximum, give me one more box. In this case, we know we have yeah, box one, box two, because we have 12 divided by 6. That's pretty good. If we change the top, let's say we're going for 5 boxes. A bit more easy test. In that case, we need at least 3 boxes, 15 capacity to fill the 12. So far, so good. Everything looks in the right sense. The next is when things get complicated. That's why I run multiple times on this workflow. So let's talk through those a bit in more detail. In the dataset, what we have a number item, which is the maximum number we have. We actually want to keep track because we know how many we can put in box. So the one thing we need to track is actually how many items that's left. For that, let's do a multi-row on each one. So let's call the number of items. Let's call number of left. Number left. It should be fun. Group ID, yeah, because we later we're going to talk about different order numbers. Technically, you don't because we don't do a batch macro, so it's going to update for each number. It's always a good habit just to be safe. So let's look. The first row, if I think on top I want to use null because I want to tell which is the first row. No, actually not. I can use 0. I can use box ID. Yeah, I'm going to use the box ID. So if my box ID currently equal to 1, you are the first box. Then in the very start, I don't care what kind of number you have. Just tell me how many items you need. Very first row, how many do you have left before you do the packing? You have number of items. Else, if. So the else if, because we got to consider, okay, let's assume you're not the first row. Let's continue for the remaining rows. Then you have two different scenarios. Either the number item left. So my previous row of numbers how many left item is strictly greater equals than my box size. It doesn't matter which one to choose because it's a constant here. So you have definitely more items than my box. Okay, I'm going to fill my box. Then tell me how many items going to be left. So I'm going to be the previous left number minus the box size. Else, if you have less items in the box, then clearly you fill the order. You're going to fill the order. Else, I think you're going to just do yeah, next is wrong. Also 0, I think maybe. Let me just run and if to check. It's very convoluted. So you have 12, you have a 7, you have 2. Uh, yeah, that's fun. If then else if queen infinity, else 0. Yeah, just in case you feel exactly one number. So the 2 is we. So left can the number left here can be calculated as the number left before you do the packing. Okay, so we can actually handle that. So the next one, that's for we're going to look at the number left compared to the box size at each step. So at try to imagine packing. Before you start packing, you look at okay, how many do I have left? What's the column they want? That's the final column they try to produce. They call the bottle in this batch. I'm going to just copy paste. So bottle in this batch. What I'm going to do is I think the basic if probably does the job. So if my number left is greater equal than my box size. So rather than think about compare the previous row to say how many times you're packing, I'm just at each stage of packing, I'm looking at, okay, the first one I have 12 items left, box size of 5 is greater, good. In this box, I'm going to pack 40. So I'm going to just do, say, box size. If you don't then the only case that indicate that you have insufficient box left, the very last row. Pack the 10 item away, the last box, you only have 2 items left, then just return to me those 2 items. Okay, that's 552. Yeah, makes sense. That gave us things packed. Once we know how many things that's packed, we can start to adjust our starting number. I think once we fix that starting, then it's easy to adjust for the ending, I think. No. Yeah, starting number, ending number, creating. So multi-row formula, let's go try. I think what we're gonna do is on the starting ID. So update existing, the starting ID. Let's keep it now. Probably need to check. So if is now, and bring this up, give you a bit more space. So if your starting number, now in this case, remember you're not necessarily starting with item ID one. In order file, you started with order ID A01, finish A01. So you don't necessarily do one. So we can't just use encode as one. So do you have any starting port ID in the above row? In the very first row, the one above is null, so you don't have anything. In that case, just give me my current starting ID. That's fine. That's the starting case. Else, so you know now what you're looking at. You're basically looking your previous row starting bottle number plus bottle in the batch. So I'm gonna say I'm thinking at this particular cell. Okay, you come to box two. Then how many items you have? Because in the box one, it must be the starting number plus number item that's filled in the box. I'm gonna do the one after. So your previous row starting ID plus the bottles in this batch. So previous row of bottle in this batch, the number. So what we have is you're gonna have 1 plus 5. Yeah, you fill the 5 bottles. So the next batch you should start at 6, 8, 9, 10. That's good. Yeah, I think that's the correct way. And if let's see. 1, 6, 11. Yeah, 11. You have 11, 2, and 12. That's good. Uh, one more formula. At this time, formula we're going to handle is the ending number. Ending number, because we have starting is done, so ending is actually easier. So ending should be just whatever your starting plus your bottle in dispatch. So bottle in dispatch is 6. Do we get our number? 1 up to 6. No, we need the boundary case minus 1 because bottle 1 be 5. Make more sense. 125, 69. Yeah, they're looking good because the final column, let's select so we can match up the final column. For the final column, they are interested for, I'm picking, that's the order ID, my starting ending I need. Box size, we're going to use as a control parameter. So it's probably easier to check in the final answer which one you want. Number items we don't need, box need a box ID, probably needed, number item, and a bottle in a batch. So those are the corresponding columns we need. So 6 column we have. What's the answer they're looking for? So yeah, the final answer should be 5. You have my box ID, box bottles in the batch. I just kept additional as box size because we're gonna do batch. So that's fine. That probably most match the answer. Macro output, we're gonna change the macro, so maybe we'll just macro output. Input is fine. We can convert into a macro input. We know we're gonna change to control parameter because we're gonna do everything in one batch. Should I? Let's just actually test our stuff. We at the moment box is size 5. If say you have 12 items, let's say you pack a box of 7. Just quick check. What we have the first one with because of box seven, pack seven, here far left, next box plus five, 1 to 7. Yeah, number looking good. So I can build this macro. Now can before introduce control parameter, the additional requirement for this challenge. So what you want, you look for specific errors. So null value for is for from and to value order the range. Okay, that's fine. Non-numerical value in the form from to. So yeah, it's about testing from the to. So you want to make sure it's all value in order. So you want to test that's not now. You want to test the correct order. You want to test edit numerical ID from ID. Yeah, the last one is basically the same order range to from or to value on order the range. Okay, so it's that test the validity of the input. Yeah, so that's kind of like if statement. Actually, I want to do a appropriate formula. It's probably better here. Because everything you built is already there, you try to put things into modular set. Let's put a error message. You can that's error two, error message and the test two uh, in Alteryx. For us, we're gonna keep things a bit easier because the macro itself it does actually take a long time to fit the particular row logic. So we're gonna skip the complicated version. We're gonna do is basically a bunch of if create a sentence. If your starting and ending, so you want to be no is now for starting or is now for ending. Then the error message will be input value may or may not have s values cannot be now. That's the first message. Else if what you want test is non-numerical. So that's it's a number, yeah, the number starting printing or is number. You want test is not. So if the starting one is no number or the ending one is not a number, then your error message will be input value need to be number. I think what I want to integer is not just number, isn't it? Yeah, I want test as an integer, not just a number. Because you don't want you bought over 2.5, so let me change this as well. INTG. That's a test. The third one is your test condition else if your ending number is less than your starting number, then order no order item ID, bottle ID in incorrect order. Okay. Then last else everything is good. That means say good. And if now there's a quick just addition column has absolutely no impact whatsoever with the rest of the workflow. Yeah, somewhere it's probably just dropped. We don't even yeah, as error message not selected somewhere. That doesn't affect final results. How does that going to impact? Usually I find filter is actually very easy to use. It's like dummy logic. So for us, we only allow error message equals good to pass. If it's not good, we're gonna output as a different macro. So you can say output that, let's call that E. This just output for out. Input, let's call that I. Um, yeah, we can already test it. Can we? Let me just create a dummy test. Enter the ID, they already form as integer. Let's say it's 5. Yeah, they try to cast the integer. Let's use now for that value. Blah, blah, blah. Then you can see it's not, the rest workflow is 0 picked up. It goes to error message. It will output simple as the message. You get ID, input value gonna be now. Yeah, that looks good. Because in our particular case, I copy paste from the input data set. So that's why the metadata coming is already integers. Realistically, quite often your input may be some kind of fixed file, external file. They make sure reading by default as string values. So those test is statement is issue will pick things up. Can they be cast as integer? Are they not? Yes or no? In this case, yeah, because I copied and make life a bit easier. Okay, those are the test condition done. Then the last one we want to actually do as a control parameter because we want to do a batch. When you drag in control parameter, by default, the whole workflow switch to is a batch. I want to be a bit more control, so I'm going to just update the box size. Formula box size, yeah, it's a 7. I want to update. Do I want a message? No, I'm going to be fine. For this one, I'm going to just save it. It's a workflow. So this will save, what's the Alteryx 66 demo, let's call it. Go to the original workflow. Let's input the data. So what we're going to insert, our macro, 66 macro, it's a demo macro build. Let's feed in the data first. Now the control parameter we need a fixing is the box size. So text input probably is fine. What they have, they're looking for 6, 12, and 120. The answer is a bit off because the final answer they're looking for is 96, which is weird. You need to set it, so we just need box size is our control parameter. We don't worry about group by, do we? Yeah, the control parameter itself has no group by involved. Batch, let's give it a try, see how it goes. So getting 94 rows. Let me just check this one. 57, 30, 87, 87 plus 7. You should get 94. Okay, rows number this much up. That's pretty good. What we have for the box size of 6, we get 57 up to 57. Looking pretty good. Let's just check. Ooh. My order number 5 is 333 to 333. Is that the input? Like I messed up some input. 1, 2, 3 should be 5, 12, and 45. That's box 6, 6. If in the first box, box 2. Ooh, something messed up. It's my ID is constantly increasing. So that indicates I forgot a group by somewhere. Multi-row. Yeah, the starting ID. I forgot to group by the box ID. Yes. Update macro. Let's try it run again. 64, 1, 1, 7. Now that's better. 1, 675 3, looking good, makes sense. Then let's take last two. Box size 1, yeah, looking good. So next one is box of 12. The first one's fine. Box 2, we will have 12 items exactly, so you packed in one single box. That's good. Box 3, makes sense, makes sense. Bought in dispatch, yep. So I think in this case, the workflow, the last box, because you have massive box, handles thing. And if you need, you can actually input whatever box size into that. Actually, let's speak down. There's a control parameter in there. I think control parameter never tested. Yeah, they didn't ask about the control parameter, but you can add in additional features, or you can set error message in the first place. Control parameter yes or no, otherwise another error message. And that is your challenge number 66. And thanks for watching.